I first met Brian Pillman when I came into Atlanta for World Championship Wrestling. I'd been down in Dallas in World Class Championship Wrestling, and I came into the airport where all the boys used to train at the same airport gym. It was Gold's Gym, and I remember watching Brian on TV for about a year, and I was always impressed with his flying ability and everything that he did in the ring and his intensity. And I remember looking at him from across the gym, and he was an impressive guy. Had a good build. At the time, he was in really good shape. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, there's Brian Pillman. I just remember it was real special to me because I was a fan of his back in. And then I went over and shook his hand, and heard that raspy voice. And just went over to pay my respects to him. And little did I know that later we'd become tag teams and best of friends. But that's how I met him. I met him in a gym in Atlanta, and I was always a big fan. And he was always a real cool guy to me, starting from that first meeting. I'd like Brian Pillman to be remembered as just a great guy, a guy who truly loved his family and his kids and his wife. He was a great guy in our business, a guy who respected what the business was. He was a great entertainer, a great worker. And the thing that always amazed me about Brian was his vocabulary, because he's always reading his vocabulary books to add new words into his arsenal. And he was just an extremely bright guy, very intelligent, who loved life and lived, basically, I think Brian lived every day like it was his last. And I just think, if you didn't know Brian, you really missed out, because he was one of those guys, that you might see across the locker room and you might have an opinion of him before you met him, because you might think he's a wise guy or this, that, or whatever, or a cocky guy. But when you get to meet him, if Brian let you in and you were to become his friend, you would realize how sweet of a guy he was, how honest of a guy he was, and how much he really cared about the people that he let in his circle. But above and beyond that was, for the most part, always nice to everybody. And he's just a great family guy. He was my best friend in the business, and I wish he was still around, because Brian helped push me in WCW, and would later, I would kind of use what he started with his promos to develop the promos that I use pretty much my whole Stone Cold career. A lot of that to Brian and his work ethic. And he's just a really good dude. He's one of the best guys I've ever known, and I think about him every day.